that time was a very rough patch for the both of us because she did find out, and throughout that rough patch was just a lot of hard work from her and a lot of reassurance from her. I mean, from me, because I had to do my best to reassure her.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen of Earth? Welcome back to another OTV video of ours, another episode of the PS series. Unfortunately, two of our team members can't be here today. Tina and Paying are busy tonight, but we still have the three of us here: Finola, Tifong, and Kalina. Sorry, I'm introducing you guys too often. And our special guest, Chandler. Say hi, Chandler.
Hi, I'm Chandler.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. A few fun facts, maybe, or some hopes and dreams, or something for the audience to know you a little bit before we get into more of the deep stuff.
I'm 20 years old. My hobbies are volleyball and longboarding, and a big hope of mine is to live life alongside with my students at my church.
It's fantastic. All right. First things we're gonna get into with you, Chandler, are school. You mentioned you're 20 years old. You just fresh out of high school, essentially, or recently, I suppose, and into the college life now. How's that been for you?
I have only been in school for 2 years, and I have never been full time, only part time. Due to the fact that I I focus my life around my church, and because I'm so busy with church that I don't I figured I don't have time for full time school, and like doing part time school, I struggled with part time school, uh, and I'm just like, you know what, this was a good decision because if I was full time, I'd probably be drowning. I probably won't have time for my job, and I probably won't have time for my church. And so this year, uh, this 2020-2021 term, I am not in school.
When you were in school, like what were you going for, or were you just doing generals?
I was only doing generals at college.
Mm. Did you have an idea of what you were trying to go for, or like no, no, not really?
I did. I had four career changes throughout high school
Oh,
until
oh,
um, throughout like my senior year of high school
yeah.
until my freshman year of college. And then like
Oh, okay.
my freshman year of college, it was simple for me to change what I wanted to do because I was part-time and I was only doing generals. So it didn't really, I mean, it mattered, but it didn't impact me that much.
What were you kind of like? What were the four careers that you were switching between?
The number one was going to school for aviation. My father my father's dream was to be a pilot, and unfortunately, because of the timing of when he came to the US, he did not have time to go to school for that or the resources to do that. And so he left that up to his three sons, and my older brothers decided not to go to school, and I decided to go to school, but the reason I changed it was because ultimately aviation is not my passion. It's not what I wanted to do, and when I prayed a lot about it. I hoped that my father wouldn't be upset at me about it, and it turns out that he was pretty understanding about it. He was pretty sad, um, but he was very understanding about it, and I respect that about him. My third one was pastoralship. Um, my junior and senior year of high school, I was attending my church a lot as a youth member, and I felt like after a mentorship from um, Pastor. Ooh. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
uh, I felt like I felt like I was forced to be a pastor. Like I was young and I didn't really know what I wanted to do in the future. All I know was that I needed to do something to further my God's kingdom, and so I put myself under pastoralship and I applied to colleges for it. Um, and after seeking a lot of consulship from it and talking to a lot of people, getting advice from a lot of people, ultimately it came down to do what you love to do, and as you're doing it, spread the gospel that way. And so when I heard that, it like lifted a great amount of weight off my shoulders, and like it meant like I could do what I love, and as I do it, I could pursue my faith still. I could pursue the faith of other people still. I can still do what I love. It's not like I don't love pastoralship. It's that I can still fulfill the Great Commission. And then the third career change, I'm sorry, the third career change was a teacher, because the reason I chose a teacher was because I thought I was good with kids. Turns out that being a teacher isn't so simple. I
No.
yeah, I worked a lot with Kaya's sister. Kaya's sister's been a teacher for 2 years, maybe 3 years.
Mhm.
I worked with her a lot, and it was very it was very different from what I imagined. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of authority. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right word, but
Like like class management kind of
yeah, yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Mhm. And it's a very different environment from what I wanted to do. And so after working with her for a while, I've decided that that I didn't want to be a teacher in the future. And so right now, after my break from school, I plan to go into youth social work. Specifically, um, was because throughout the past 2 years, I've worked with a lot of kids. I've worked with a lot of troubled teens, and I've gotten deep into their troubles, and I've worked out a lot of issues with them, and I have like really special bonds with the kids. And throughout my endeavors with them, like I've even for a particular person, I've even went to some court hearings for her, um, and like my relationship, my bond with them went so far, um, that I wanted to help troubled teens in the future. I wanted to help kids find families in the future, or just be there for kids in the future. And I've gotten some advice from some people. They tell me that I shouldn't get too attached to these kids, because ultimately, they're not going to be in my life forever, and like they're gonna find families. They're gonna um, go further in life, and so that's something that I'm working on. But for now, that is my plan.
That's really nice. Like, youth social work. Yeah, and I like get when people say to like not get too attached, but it's like hard, especially with like that relationship that you've built.
But I'm sure at some point, like I think because you've made so much of an impact, they like will definitely like remember you, and that's like what matters a lot. But that's like pretty cool. Just like your journey of like trying to figure out like what you want to do, because I know that's what a lot of people struggle with, and it took you a lot of tries, but like hey, you found something that you are actually passionate about. um yeah, but that's pretty cool to just hear. um I was going to also ask, because you did mention about the students at church, just for you personally growing up, how did like your faith like impact you growing up?
As a kid, I I hated church.
Can
I'd
I call
say
you out on that? Like I
yeah.
remember you as the kid who was always just naughty. That's how I was, because Chandler and Cleena and Dayu all went to the same church as kids, and then we moved church, and then we ended up at the same church again. So I was like, I always remember Chandler as that one naughty kid that was always naughty, like always. But like obviously, I don't know Chandler personally in his faith, but like obviously totally changed from like when we were like 5 years old to like now. So, but anyways, continue.
um, I really dislike church because as a kid, I obviously I was still a kid. I thought I was forced to go to somewhere I didn't like, and I was forced to sit down in a classroom and learn about someone who's not real, and just follow all these rules. And especially at home, I had to pray all the time and do this, do that, do this, do that, all these rules as a kid. I thought it that way, and I grew up hating church for a very long time until maybe like the the early stages of my ninth grade year in high school was when I started to just see church for what it really is. Let's see, I totally missed out in middle school too, but um, I started dating this girl in eighth grade. Um, my parents didn't approve of her, and so did the church. I would ditch church all the time for her. I would like literally she would come to church, and the two of us we would take off to go to the park or something, or we would just be outside talking. And my my dad found that out, and so when he found that out, I was banned from coming to church for maybe almost a year, and I couldn't go to any gatherings. I could come to Sunday service, but at Sunday service I could only sit with my parents, and I would be with my parents 24/7. And so eventually my parents told me that I didn't need to come to Sunday service anymore for that time. And during that time, I was like facing a lot of turmoil in my life because my parents didn't let me do anything either. They didn't let me go out with friends. All I did was go to school, come back home, and I was super young, so I didn't really have much to do at home but play games. But then when I played games, my parents would get on my case for that too. Uh, so that was a really rough patch. But what really helped me during that time was my pastor at the time. He he mentored me, even though I respected him, but I didn't really like listen to him. Like, oh, he's full of crap. Because I was a kid, I was a delinquent, so I was just like, oh, he's just full of crap, telling me some advice some other elder would tell me. But then like he mentored me. He was very patient with me. When I came back to church, I was put on watch, obviously, by the leaders, and and when I came back to church, I got to see all my friends again, like after a very long time. And when I saw my friends, I began to question to myself, why are they here? Isn't this stupid? Isn't this boring? And the more I questioned myself, the more like discussion and conversations started to come about me and my friends and the older people, and that's just how my faith started to come back, and like ultimately that rubbed off onto my girlfriend as well. And so yeah, that's basically how my faith was like as a kid until now, like in a nutshell.
That's actually like I feel this like kind of like my first time. Not is it? Yeah, kind of a bit of like my first time of hearing that process for you. So I was like, oh wow, like like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I feel like there was a time where like I barely saw you, and then like you just came back. So, yeah, thanks for sharing that. With that kind of because you also like talked about like the youth that you are kind of helping out. Also, like how kind of like has like your faith kind of impact you to help them?
The youth as in right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So so the youth that are here now, I well, first things first, I get to tell them all. I get to tell them the stories that I can tell them. Uh, like one number one, that the stories I am comfortable with, and number two, the stories that are appropriate to tell them. um, but when they hear my story, they get a little jumbled. They be like, I can't believe that would happen to you, Chandler. And like I get so many weird looks, like that was you, that because like there's a story where like I broke the elevator.
Oh,
I threw rocks at windows, and like I would tell them these things, and they'd be like, no, I don't believe that. And then I think me telling them that it helps them acknowledge that God transforms people, and it helps them realize that it's okay where you are at right now, because I also went through the same turmoil as a kid. I also went through the same process as a kid. Just be patient in God. But yeah, I like the way I grew up. I think it brings a different dynamic to the kids from what they're used to, and I think I've used that positively.
Yeah, because I'm like, if I didn't know you and I was like, what? That's what, like, you did that as a kid? I don't believe that. Yeah, probably wouldn't believe that either. But that's like really is of like an amazing thing just to see how God has like worked in your life and like changed you in that way. And that's like pretty amazing to hear about. But another question for you is how like for you, how do you build those like I know like you share your stories too, but like what other kind of things help you to build like that kind of trust? Because I know you did talk about um like going on like a more like deeper level with the students.
It I had the privilege to with the current group of students, namely the middle schoolers. I had the privilege to teach them in VBS for 2 years. I had them VBS 2017 and then VBS 2019. I had them, and throughout the whole 2018 through 2019 term, um, my girlfriend and I, we had the chance to lead them in small group in Sita's classroom at the time. And so with that, I spent a lot of time with them, getting to know them, talking to them, and how I went about it was that, like, as a leader, I think one of the most important things that a leader can do is have a very strong relationship with the kids. And I realized that I need this strong relationship with the kids in order to help them grow. Um, that's number one, and number two, it's also super fun, and I enjoy it, and it's something I'm very passionate about. And so, like, how it started was that, like, I would take them out to, like, just do fun, stupid things, like go to the arcade, spend like $50 at the arcade, and do whatever. But my my first year of being a youth leader, I thought I was doing it all wrong. I thought I wasn't doing anything right because, like, at the end of the day, I'm just taking kids out to have fun. Like like that was on my mind for a very long time, and I had to pray so hard about it because I'm like, am I really doing things right? Am I being their leader? Am I helping them grow? And my my prayers wasn't really answered until one day, two of my students opened up about their deep insecurities, about their family life at home, how toxic their relationships are, and, like, when those students opened up to me, I finally realized that I'm finally getting somewhere. I can finally make an impact on their life, and so throughout all that time we spent together, that helped me grow my relationship with them, and therefore they have more trust in me, and then I don't know, it just grows and grows from there. And then, like, meeting one friend means that I get to meet another friend. And believe it or not, I throughout with these kids, I've met a lot of other friends from, like, other churches, and, like, my bubble has grown a little too big for my liking, but I make the best of it. But yeah, that basically, in a nutshell, I I focus on relationships first, and then the growing after.
What would you say would be like the most uncomfortable thing for you that like you've done, like if that makes sense, and like as being a leader or just building relationships, like the most uncomfortable thing that you've experienced?
The most uncomfortable thing I've experienced is my relationship with the female students, and there's a very fine line, and, like, every time I'm with them, I'm treading very thin ice, and ever since the beginning, I've acknowledged that I'm on thin ice when I'm with the female students. And so my years of mentoring, the particularly the female students, it's very difficult because I have to, like, follow guidelines in my head. I have to make sure that I have to make sure that everything's okay, essentially. Like, um, in the rare moments that I do take only female students out, it's never with me. I always have Micaiah with me, and if she's not with me, then I'm not doing it at all. That's like my fine line there. Um, it's either her or I have a couple other uh, student boys with me. And the most uncomfortable I've been was my conversations with the parents. Sometimes the parents they question what I do. They ask me so many questions. They'd be like, "Why is a 20-year-old taking out my 13-year-old daughter or son?" And it gets especially uncomfortable when it's only the female students too. Um, and the fact of the matter is that the only thing I can do is respect that the parents feel this way or that other people feel this way. And so when they tell me they're concerned, the best thing I can do is respect that about them and just make sure that things in their life is comfortable so then like I can still keep doing what I'm doing.
That's very mature for someone your age, Chandler. It's very respectable, and I think it's a very good thing that you know, you have the general idea of like, or not even just general, just the idea of like knowing where to draw the fine lines of like, yeah, like why is a 20-year-old taking my 13-year-old daughter out, kind of thing. So yeah, no, I respect that a lot. I'm glad that we're talking about this because we see each other and say hi to each other, and I don't know you a lot, but this is a lot of good insight into you know kind of person you are and all that stuff. And yeah,
You know what? Since we're talking about relationships and you did bring up her a few times. So how long have you been in a relationship
Let's
or
see.
your really current relationship?
Um in 1 month and 6 days, it will be 7 years officially.
Wow.
Years.
So can you like tell us the story of how you guys
Oh my
met and
gosh.
everything?
All right, all right. I kid you not when I say this. My very, very, very first words to her was this. Do you have any curves? Like
What?
literally, literally.
What is that? What?
But wait, but why? Why did you ask her that?
I don't know. I don't remember. I
How do
think
you
I think it was just bold back then, you know?
I was like, how do you remember only saying that, but like that's it? That's all you remember is just those first
I
lines.
remember we were at the lunch line at and I said those to her as um like I was an airhead back then. I was like really full of myself back then. So then it was really easy for me to talk to girls, and so I would be bold with every girl I met, including her at the time. And so those were my very first words to her, and that was I was back in 7th grade, so that was approximately a year before we started dating.
Wow.
Wow. So then like were you like into her first or was she into you first
Yeah,
or
do you remember why you said that? Why you chose those that specific line to open up with?
I don't remember, honestly. It's all I remember is that lunch line, the sink was right there, and she was right there, the door was right there, and then I asked her, and then yeah, my friends were behind me too. So I guess my friends gave me that boost of confidence maybe, but at the same time, I do remember still being very bold when I was young. But
How? Oh, it's like, how did she respond?
I think she said no and quietly looked away. I think so. I think so. Don't quote me on that because it's been like 8 years. But she can vouch for me. Those are my very first words to her.
Wow. So
In
then,
terms of,
well,
oh,
yeah.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say then. So then, what came after? Like, clearly she was just like, "What the heck? This dude's weird," and just like left you alone. But did you like continue to pursue her, or like what happened?
At the time, I did not like her actually, because like
Mm.
obviously that was my first time meeting her. I just thought she was cute, and that was it. But I didn't even know that she was dating someone else at the time. So yeah, so she was dating
Wow.
someone else at the time, and I couldn't get her, so I obviously moved on from her. I dated another girl for a couple months, and then we broke up, and then we reconnected. Kaya and I we reconnected in summer, and then throughout our friendship in summer, eventually, uh, like eventually. turned into a relationship in November because we started dating in November.
Mm.
Oh, and her she and her boyfriend didn't work out. They they obviously um but they broke off maybe a couple months after me and my ex broke off, but and after that we started seeing each other. I don't know if we were rebounds at first, but even if we were rebounds at first, this is how it turned out, I guess.
7 years. Wow, that's a long
That's
time.
crazy.
Wow. So then how like for you, how did you guys like continue to like make it work? Because 7 years is a pretty like long time. Since what you said eighth grade, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
How did we make it work? I don't know. That's a very good question. I The only thing I remember was spending a lot of time with her and um like we do childish things together. We got into things way too early. But aside from that, um, all I remember was spending a lot of time with her and loving every moment of it, even till this day. Obviously, we butt heads a lot. We argue a lot, especially because we're almost 7 years into this relationships. We argue about very stupid things, very minuscule things that we should not argue about, but we do. But I think ultimately what kept us together was like I don't know for sure, but I think ultimately what kept us together was my change from eighth grade to ninth grade. Um, I am comfortable talking about this, by the way, and she is okay with it as well. But during my during summer of eighth grade, I did cheat on her with another girl, um, and so that time was a very rough patch for the both of us because she did find out, and throughout that rough patch was just a lot of hard work from her and a lot of reassurance from her. I mean, from me, I had to do my best to reassure her, and at the time too, was at the time too, I was beginning to come back to the gathering too, and so if you guys just connect the dots, my faith started to come back, as my faith started to come back as her and I started to mend our relationship. And so I don't know for sure, but I guess I can say that that little patch in our life was what made us stronger. I don't really know if that's the correct thing to say, but I'm just gonna say it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like definitely like whatever. I mean, because like then in that moment in time, you probably didn't even know it, but then now when you look back, it's definitely like something that like, wow, like that's probably that one thing that like helped us work out, and that's like pretty cool or amazing to just hear about. Um, yeah, but thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I was like, that is like a. I feel like that's a very tough topic to for like
And
people to like talk
personal,
about.
yeah.
Yeah, but thank you for being open and sharing that with us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's yeah, I mean, thank you again. Yeah, for sharing that. That's huge.
So then, um, in your own experience, like what would you say is the one of the like most important things when you're in a relationship?
I think the most important thing, at least for Kaya and I, is probably communication.
Yes.
Um, there,
Always.
I've learned the hard way because I love gaming, and and sometimes I would spend hours gaming, and throughout those hours, I would ignore her calls, I would ignore her messages, and then I would call her late at night saying, "Oh, sorry, I was busy," and then she would get mad at me, and then the cycle would repeat again and again and again. And sometimes our schedules don't match, and sometimes things just don't work out because we just don't communicate with each other. We can't make things work if we don't communicate with each other. And so I learned the hard way that communication matters so much in a relationship. And so we haven't seen counseling or like marriage count not marriage counseling, but like counseling for couples. But then like we've seen stuff on it, and we've been working on it. Not that we need it, but like we're just doing it just to do it. And like I think it's working out very well for us because like our communication's gone up, and with me working a full-time job, especially this week, pumping out a lot of hours, and with her doing full-time school and her internship, we don't have a lot of time to be with each other, and so um, communication's what matters the most. Like she loves calling me to talk about how my day was, but for me, I'm just like, oh, all I did was take this box and put it right there for 8 hours straight. And what else is? But like I don't know. She enjoys the very small details, and yeah, I think the best thing I could say is probably communication.
I wonder if that's like a girl thing. Because I feel like even for me, like I just like hearing TJ's like day, even if it's like nothing. But, like, what did you really do? You know? I don't know. Maybe it's a girl
I
thing.
didn't do anything. I just sat here, played games, and that's it.
But how was it? Like literally, I asked him every single like to the littlest detail, so I understand.
I understand, TJ.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it's like nothing exciting happened. So I mean,
But
yeah.
like, have you guys ever like thought about like kind of like your guys' like future together? Since you guys,
Mm,
yeah, since it's been so long.
I have thought about the future, and the the very it's very weird because not weird, but it doesn't like crush my pride, but then it's maybe it's a blow to my pride because she'll be done with school this year, but because I've because the past 2 years I've only been part-time school and now I'm taking a full year break, I will be very far behind her. She will probably finish with school and have like that job by now, and here's me still trying to finish up maybe my generals by then or something even. Um, but I think that she and we've come to terms that that's okay. Um, because for me, I've decided to make that sacrifice for my church, and so her and we acknowledge that, and we're okay with that. Me taking my time with school and she finishing up early. Um, but yeah, for now, that's just our future plans to get married soon.
Just like to add on top of that, like this is gonna be probably way in the future. But like, how many kids like would you want to
Oh,
have?
three.
Three?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
three?
Um, okay. Four is too much. Two is too little. That's I don't know. For me, that's how I feel. Four is too much, but two is too little. Uh, I don't know if it's just like my brothers, because there's my two older brothers and there's me, but then there's like this huge year gap, and then there's my sister. So maybe that's what's gonna happen. But but yeah. I don't know. For me, I feel like four is too much, two is too little, and three is a good spot. But she wants four kids, so I don't know.
So 3 to 4
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
Is there like a specific amount of like girl and boys you want to have, or it doesn't matter, whatever God gives you?
We want a boy first, but for me, I don't have a preference. But for her, she hasn't talked about it yet. But she says she was just wants a boy
Yeah.
first. So
Why
I
boy
don't know. I
first?
she she never clarifies with me. But that's what she wants. But I'm okay with either or. And honestly, whatever God gives us is we'll take it and make the best out of our blessing.
I feel like if like having a boy first, they'll kind of be like the one to like protect the younger siblings.
True.
Yeah, maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm not her, so maybe she has a
I
different
think
reason.
that, yeah, I feel like that might be like that's like a good reason too, because having a boy that's older can help more in the family. I guess I don't know, but
Yeah, for
wow.
sure. We do want pets.
Oh,
Her and we are a huge fan of cats. We love cats. We love cats so much. Uh, and right now, she has three cats in her home, and so whenever I visit her, I get to play with all her cats, and it's so much fun to be with them. I don't know the pain of being with them full time yet because like we gotta clean them up, we gotta wash them, take them to the vet. So I don't know what that feels like yet, but Kaya, she surely knows how to clean them up and stuff. She knows that there's more than just fun with pets. But for sure, we do want pets in the
Mhm.
future.
Wow, nice.
Why do like why not like
Wait.
why cats, but like why cats?
Kalina doesn't like cats.
No, no. Um, I don't know. The cats we Kaya's sister has a cat, and we met him 2 years ago, and so I guess he just really rubbed off on me because he was very playful. He is very evil sometimes. He would scratch me and bite me, and I would bleed. But yeah. Like I don't know if you can see, but I have a couple of scratches right here from a cat named Malu. And he bites my hand all the time too, and it bleeds sometimes, but not all the time. But it's
This is
regardless of
just
that, it's so fun.
this is not helping Kalina like cats anymore.
He scratches and bites. Oh yeah, sounds great.
We also love dogs too. We had a dog, and well, not we had a dog. Kaya's sister had a dog, and she would always come to her and I to dog sit her, and like we would literally dog sit her so much that eventually like her dog knew who we were and knew what we were there for, and like the dog was super happy to see us and like would always bark when we came to her house. But then almost a month ago, she had to be put down, um, and so we were really saddened about that. Um, and like we know that cats are gonna live that long too, but yeah, we do plan to have a dog as well, like a dog and a cat.
Would you like buy them or like adopt? Is that a word? Adopt animals, not buy, or are they the same
I don't
thing?
know. That's
I
a
don't
good
know.
question.
Anyways, would you like start with having like kittens and puppies and have them grow, or like just buy them when they're big, or get them? I don't know, whatever. Yeah.
I I want to get them as a baby, um, just 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 for the fact that we can have that relationship with each other growing up. But also, I know that it'll be a hard time because they're babies. They'll pee and poop everywhere.
Yeah. You gotta like train them to like
Yeah,
not poop on
yeah,
you.
yeah, and yeah, and like talking about baby kittens and baby dog or like puppies and kittens. Um, I I personally don't have a lot of experience with babies as well. Kaya, she has a lot of experience babysitting because she has a very young brother who she had to babysit a lot and clean up after, clean him up a lot. And so, I was very babied growing up, so I don't know what it's like to take care of these very small nuances that are the ugly side of very cute things. Yeah.
No, it.
But
Oh yeah,
go
you
ahead.
can. Oh, keep going.
But but I think that it'll be fun to learn how to take care of it. I am looking forward to learning that.
Yeah,
Oh, I see them.
yeah, it's really fun because since I work at a daycare, and it's really cool to kind of just see them like from this like tiny little thing to this like huge toddler.
Tiny little thing.
Yeah, they're so small. Like you think that if when you like hold them, you think you're gonna break them, but like you see them like grow, and it's like oh, like that little thing is now that. But it's fun. I think you'll enjoy it when you have it in the future.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's not
I
as much
mean,
work as a lot of
you'll
people
learn.
think they are. Yeah.
It's just when it comes to like cleaning the poop and everything, it's like, ooh, somebody else come do this.
Like
Or like when they like bomb the
yeah, when
diapers.
it becomes
Oh, yeah.
when it's a mess down there, then you'll wish someone else could come do it, but
I
you'll
don't
have
even
to
know
do
how to
it.
change a diaper.
Gotta can always practice on a baby toy doll.
Oh gosh. Wait,
That's
right,
different.
Yeah.
They don't smell.
Oh,
Okay, then you can make them smell if you want that. If you want that experience
are
too,
you gonna poop on it?
right?
No. Ew.
Uh,
Like I feel like babies poop are probably the most stinkiest like ever.
About it.
Like cause like I'm just thinking about like our baby cousin when he poops, it's like, ooh, you can smell that. So stinky. Very stinky. All right, so this is all the time we have left today with Chandler. Thank you, Chandler, for coming to join us and just sharing your experiences with us today. I feel like I learned a lot about you just from this short amount of time. But thank you for being so open and just sharing your life with us. And to everyone else, thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please give this video a like and a comment in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. Also follow us on our Instagram just to see the behind the scenes for some of our videos, and follow us on Facebook. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.